How our perceptions activate the stress response. Consider this situation that would be stressful for most people. Imagine that you have been asked to sing the national anthem at the beginning of the next Super Bowl without any musical accompaniment. You'll be singing at the top of your lungs in front of 85,000 enthusiastic fans, along with the millions of other viewers around the world. Would you feel comfortable doing this, or would you probably find yourself getting a little bit stressed out at the thought of singing in front of all of these people? If you're like most folks, singing in front of any group of people doesn't sound very fun. In fact, it's probably going to be very stressful for you. However, if you were at your home by yourself, washing dishes or taking a shower, would you have any problem singing the same song, even at the top of your lungs? You probably wouldn't think twice about it, as long as nobody else was around to hear you. Now, here's what is interesting. In both places, you're doing exactly the same thing. So what's the difference? I'm going to give you a definition. It's the only definition in these videos that you need to remember. It's the definition of stress. If you don't get anything else, understand this. Stress is the physiological survival response of the body to a perceived threat. The most important word in that definition is perceived. How our perceptions activate the stress response. Your hypothalamus and your nervous system are always listening to your thoughts. They always follow through on directions you give them based on what you're thinking. When the brain sends the message to the hypothalamus and nervous system that danger is present, it always sets in motion electrical and chemical activity that creates the fight or flight response. However, your hypothalamus and nervous system aren't watching your exterior environment. They are only listening to your thoughts. If you have a thought that sounds like, "Uh-oh, this is bad. I'm in danger," they immediately go to work. They have no idea if the danger is real or not. They just follow directions. And the only way they know how to handle any kind of a threat, perceived or real, is by activating the fight or flight response. So all you have to think is, "Uh-oh, this is bad," for any reason at all, and you immediately activate the stress response. Over 99% of the time, the uh-ohs that we think have nothing to do with real danger. We simply make them up. Sure, they might be important and sometimes even urgent, but very rarely are they life-threatening. It is your perception of a threat that sets it off every time. We call this interpretation of a threat your threat thought. Consider the following situations that people commonly perceive to be stressful. Ask yourself whether the event is one that warrants activation of the stress response in order to escape and stay alive. Taking a test, having an argument, escaping a house fire, arriving late for work, being chased by a mugger, giving a speech to a crowd of people, sliding down a steep mountainside while hiking, being rejected when asking someone on a date, getting a bad review, getting ready for a very important competition. When you look at these examples, you begin to realize the clear distinction between a threat that could possibly hurt you and the threat that you might make up about a situation. Watch the next video to see the most common perceived stressful situations.